Broadcast live.
Yeah, we about to talk about influencer tips right now. For people who are basically interested in the social standing, how they should attract brands and what brands are looking for. I'm just getting people that can give you the right advice, especially now with a lot of the Corona stuff that's happening, and the lockdown, and there'll be a lot of just like people will be looking at influencers a lot of people who are posting on social. So besides you always just asking about other people, like maybe you could build your profile on social media, and you could probably start earning from it, so I'm trying to get you the right people who can give you advice, and guidance. We're about to go live with Theodorah Manjo, and she's just going to she works with a lot of brands, and she's just going to give you guys some advice right now. And if you do have questions around those conversations, please send through the questions. This is for you guys to help yourselves, because you're always engaging with us. So it's the least I can try to give y'all some type of education, just get people from the world. We're just waiting for Theodora to join us. And then once she's joined us, you guys can prepare your questions in all aspects of influencers. If you want to be influencers, that is. You know what I mean?
Cool. Yay. Hi, everyone. I'm Miss Manjo, Theodorah Manjo. I am a Digital Brand Strategist. I've been working with influencers since 2014, back when brands started using influencers before we had all the big names and the big apps. Been working with brands, different types of brands, FMCG, technology, and all that stuff. So I've been blessed to work with different types of industries and people within that industries, and finding the niche in those industries to speak for those brands, basically.
Yo, I mean, in particular right now, a lot of people are asking questions about how they like make their pages attractive for brands, and obviously there are different kinds of brands and there are different kinds of people. I'm sure you get that question a lot, but like, what would your answer be to that?
Excuse my bluntness, but there's a term that we use, and it's called a brand whore. So if you can see that on your page, you're all about posting brands, we already look away from that, because that's all you're looking for. So if you're going to know your niche and know what you're about, if you're a sneaker fan, I'm not going to guess you're a sneaker fan if all you post is t-shirts. You know what I mean? So have an essence of what your brand is about. Essentially, you're a business. So if I'm going to go into your page and not know what your business is about, I'm not going to want to do business with you. So if you're going to be an influencer and know that your niche is in makeup, I want to see that come live before I DM you and say, hey, do you want to sell eyebrow pencil or whatever the case is? So keep your pages clean, but keep them true. Don't make them so perfect that it's just like it's going to be a paid promo. I think we went through this thing where we wanted perfection, and now it's just like, you can tell that you're being paid to sell something. So make it feel authentic. If it looks like something you would post, then post it. If it looks like it's all fancy and light roomed up and photoshopped up, it's not authentic anymore.
Yeah. I mean, I guess also people sometimes mix up the influencer marketing with real life. There's a guy I actually asked to actually join the conversation because he had a question for me. And he's literally was asking, he has a clothing brand, and what steps or activities should I undertake to enter the market? Now, I went to his page, and his page basically it's promoting his stuff, his clothing. And my question was, is he trying to sell me his clothing? Because, are you trying to sell me your business, but you're also trying to be an influencer when your page is only showing your clothing? So I looked at that page and that's how I felt, and things like that, like, how do people differentiate between them selling you their ideas versus what they stand for?
Sure. Okay. Um, it's difficult when you're pushing your own thing. Suppose you also, as an influencer, you need to know, are you trying to collaborate with brands, or are you trying to sell yourself to a brand as a potential, I don't know, I want to be the next t-shirt line in your brand. If you're going to have an account that mixes the both, let it mix the both. I want to see your face. I want to see how much fun you have on a Saturday. But I also want to see what you're about on a Monday and a Tuesday. You need to have a balance. You need to read up more about what people in your field. So if, like the clothing line guy, see what other people that own clothing, what do their pages look like? Have they differentiated their everyday life from their business life? Is that something you should look at? If you want to make it one, how do I make it one? Are we going to look at themes? I mean, there's these articles, these apps, there's all sorts of things to help you with themes. If you want to make it look pretty, if you look at your page and you're not excited, no one else is going to be excited. So you also have to do some research for your own things. You also have to look at aesthetic. Does it look like something somebody would want to buy into? Am I engaging with people? Because that's also another thing. One of the biggest, it's a whole phase thing. We went through a phase where influencers had to have 100,000 followers. We have 100,000 followers, but you've got 20 comments. Are you influencing? You just got a lot of followers. You know what I mean? So now we're going with less followers, but they're engaging. That is exciting, because if you're going to sell a top, I'm going to take your word for it because you talk to me. But if you're just going to push out content just for people to see that I've got amazing content and not talk to me, you're not going to influence me. I'm not going to listen to what you're saying because you're just pushing stuff at me.
So I think that just with regards to Gulf Coast or Gulf Coast, I don't know if that is Gulf Coast. I'm not sure what you call yourself. I think that answers your question, because you've been asking me about like your clothing brand and what step activities to undertake to enter the market, and it's a broad question. You know, that it's like, what market do you want to enter? You know, I think there's also a challenge where people aren't defining what they want on their social pages. You know, they just say they want to enter the market, but you never know in what context. Do you know what I mean? And then also with regards to, let's just say that like I'm into food, right? And because you also work a lot with those type of brands also, food, soap, hair, beauty, all those beauty brands, right? If literally like I've got a page where I've got what I believe is great content, right? What type of, they people with great content, but like, is they always like you guys look for people based on brand fit, as in like this person fits the brand, or do you look at, or does the brand choose people based on people? Yeah, I don't know if I'm making sense. It's almost like you can literally say this is what the brand wants to achieve, but this is what these people are like. Do you make your decisions based on what people are like, or versus this is what the brand wants globally or in the world, this is what they look for?
You know, there are times where there's, but there's a word that comes up quite a lot. It's called brand safety. So some of the things we do look at is nudity, crass words and crass content and stuff like that. Like we all have moments and stuff. But if you may cook and you've got beautiful food things and stuff like that, but if your stuff is a bit dark, your brands aren't going to want things have to. How can I say it? How they have to defend themselves if something comes up. You know what I mean? There are times where you say something and it goes left, and you're going to think it goes left, and all of a sudden for the wrong reasons. Now, brand has to defend themselves as to why did I align with Sia to begin with. So just be careful of things like that. If you would feel uncomfortable having that done to you, then don't do it. But there's normally a strategy behind things. We go with themes. We like people that are trendy, that are on topics, that know their niche, that are true to what they're pushing, and they're not diva-ish. There are people with gorgeous pages and gorgeous content and great bloggers. As soon as you reach out to talk to them, then all of a sudden they're untouchable. And it's off-putting, and I understand that everybody has worked myself to this point. I know my worth. It's fun to know your worth, but influencing is relationship building. It really is. That's what it is. Marketing is relationship building. If I can't talk to you, if I can't reach you, who are you going to end up influencing? Who are you going to influence for? And there's lots of things that are happening now. You've got your brands, you've got your agencies, you've got your publishers, you've got the influencers. There's a tier of things. So at any time you can be approached by a PR person, you can be approached by people who own apps, or the apps are approaching you, or you're approached by brand creators. You need to be able to be approachable. Be approachable. Stand for what you stand for. It's perfectly fine. If you feel like you're being robbed, have that conversation, but don't be a diva about it. And I think we've gotten such an attitude now, because I've got 3,000 likes, what the hell I want. I can charge 15,000 rand for a post just because I want to, and it's that type of thing that's off-putting. Like, as much as brands, yes, we might say that brands have money and things like that. It seems as if they do have money. Sometimes they do, sometimes they don't. But if you're not going to build a relationship with the people that they work for a long time, well, how are you even going to get off the ground? You know what I mean? It's stepping stones. But I always don't undersell yourself. And I think influencers become such a hustle. It's, even if I get this $300 Reckoning Street, it's fine. We all have those days. But if you see that you're going to be adding value to a brand and it's a long-term thing, have a conversation. Don't be a diva. Don't be offish. Respond to emails, for goodness sake. I mean, you're going to have people DM me for inquiries, whatever, and you have to wait 4 or 5 days. Brands don't work like that. Today, a brief, and on Wednesday, I need to be pushing that. By Friday, maybe we need to go live. If you're going to respond on Thursday, what am I supposed to do in the meanwhile? So we need to be agile. Because we want to be social media, you need to be aware of your business. It's your business. Responding to potential business, how are you going to grow?
Do you think that also maybe there's I mean, imagine I'm just like, I'll use an example, you got a guy like No Chill. I'm just the guy posting what I love, and I get a call tomorrow from Coca-Cola. It's almost a little bit like also there's this like I don't know, it's like it's not like a normal call. So there's also that bit of, I want to protect myself also, because this is such a big company and I'm just who I am, and could they be ripping me off, and maybe versus every other industry, if you call like an Times Live with the Star tomorrow, they a business, they get it, right? They get sitting there negotiating, talking about rate cards and negotiating on prices and giving additional value. They get all those things. But like, now you're speaking to an individual who, like, they making money off like posting on social media. What knowledge do they have to negotiate, except that it's a company from Coca-Cola or from 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 Dav that called me. I must protect myself. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I think that, like, at times they could be that, like, that thing of, how do we get that education out, though, that like that like, we want to partner with you and build with you, especially because we found you and we think you're great, versus us going, it's just a once off. But I think that also comes from the fact that there's a lot of like, what we call, there's a lot of technology that people deal with to become influencers, and they don't deal with people. So
Yeah.
let's say I signed up to this influencer company through the internet, without naming people's companies. I mean, those people are never going to come down and speak to me like a person. It's always going to be like, here's the brief, da, da, da. So it comes, they're sending briefs to individuals like they're sending them to companies. So maybe that could be another barrier also.
Yeah. Look, we're in a technological time. So back when influencer started, I would literally look for people. If you mentioned socks, I would look for you and I'd hunt you down, and I have to call you, I have to email you, I have to brief you. But now there's things where it's just a matter of if you're looking for guys from ages 24 to 34 that love happy socks, wear
Sorry, I think you're cutting there. I think you're cutting there. There could be some noise around where you are.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, better now.
Okay, cool. So I was saying, in the beginning, we used to manually do this stuff, and manually is work, and it's time consuming, right? So now we've got all these algorithms where it's easier for a brand to say, use this machine to find guys from the ages of 24 to 34 that wear white tops and yellow Sundays. Then that's quick, right? And then they'll find you, and then they'll propose what they need to propose. You don't have that time to negotiate, which sucks. You know, it really does suck, because sometimes you post up 700 rand a post, but then they'll tell you you're only worth 300 rand a post. But you have the option to say no. And I think that's what people, also another thing is, you'll go onto these search things, and then you'll go onto social media to complain that they don't pay. But you're still doing that. You're still doing the things anyway. You have the option to say no. And so the way these things come into play is simple time. We don't have the time to be searching. I don't know how many people are on Twitter. I don't know how many people are on Instagram. But imagine having to go through 1 million people and try to sift through men of this age that wear when this technology. It just simply comes in with time. But not to digress, know what you stand for. And I mean, engage. I think that the biggest thing that comes out from these apps is engagement. They can see have engagement. It doesn't matter if you have 100 followers to stuff. You're not going to get picked, or you're not going to get the best rate. So work on the relationships that you have online. If you're a writer, write. Make sure that people are seeing that you're writing. You can have a beautiful blog and have 100 things written, but if nobody's reading it, how do I give you what you think you're worth? So you also have to, it's a push and pull type of thing. You know, there are times where we're going to go through the apps, we're going to go through people. As much as you can, if you do go through people, and like you're saying, if a Coca-Cola is going to phone you, if they have found a Sia, they're going to phone you. Someone is going to call you and say, we want to do something with you in April. And if you don't feel, I think this is another thing that we have in our minds. Coca-Cola is huge. They've got millions. No way they're going to pay me 1,000 rand. I need 18,000 rand or nothing. You don't understand that there's different parts of the business. And maybe this isn't the biggest campaign. It's one of the small ones. But we get a person to talk to. And I think that is so beautiful. I think we don't nurture that enough. If I'm on the phone with you, speak to me. Let me know what you want. If you're thinking that this rate is too low, let me know. Don't be like, okay, sharp. And then 3 days later, you're talking about how big brands don't pay me. Like, that's going to leave a sour taste in my mouth. Let's have this conversation. Let me go back to whoever I need to go back to and say, listen, we're shortcutting them, but can we do something with them in future? I've built a relationship with you already. And remember that people don't stay in companies forever. So I may be calling you from a Coca-Cola. 5 months down the line, I'm with another brand, and they need influencers. Snap, I worked with Sia. He was quite cool. I'm under pressure. I need someone for the weekend. Dude, can you help me out? We've already built a relationship. Now you're with another brand, but you're still on another database. So you're growing. But you need to be open. Like I said earlier, you need to be approachable. If you're going to be on these apps, but grow your followings, grow your engagement, grow the content. If you're seeing that you've got bots and weird people following you, unfollow, report, do something, get rid of them, because they'll lower your score. If you see those weird names like letters and numbers, that's not a real person. Unfollow, get rid of them, report, get them out of your atmosphere, because your score will go down because of people you don't even know.
How do people literally find out if they're being followed by bots, not real people, so they can get rid of them? Huh?
I haven't found anything that you can search for free. You'll have to manually just have a moment on a Saturday night and just go through the people that are following you. It's refreshing also, because you're cleaning up your followers. At the end of the day, you can actually start seeing people that you enjoy talking to, that you enjoy content from and videos from. and there's a lot of drives that happen, and it's great, whatever, people are pushing, but you're going to follow a lot of crap, and that crap is going to bring you from 98 to 66, and there's your money gone.
So, do you think that like influencer marketing though at times is like an afterthought, and the results are more microscope than other advertising platforms? Because now you are talking about the thing that you get a brief Monday, you need to roll out on Thursday. It's almost like it's that thing where now, because you're in that rush, you have to literally use that machine. And
Yeah.
besides using that machine, it's as good as saying, it's like now when we're in the lockdown and they say let's sanitize, and it only works for sanitize and stay indoors, and it only works for affluential people, where you get people like, we keep using Alex as an example, or Deep Slit, and we go, when that was thought, did they think about those people? So it's almost like the way the briefing comes, it comes for people who are affluential and who are ready to get it. And so
Yeah.
you guys also move last minute, so you kind of influences and not getting new influences, because you're always trying to, it's like an afterthought.
Yeah. Yeah. There's a huge truth in that, but I wouldn't say it's an afterthought. I mean, brands do year strategies, they do quarterly strategies, and somehow it gets put in there. And it's only on, well, as much as we knew that Corona was happening, we didn't think it would hit us as fast as it did. So a lot of brands and
Trust me.
companies had to react. There wasn't anyone planning in January that, oh, if something huge happens, who would be the best person to talk to? And it's, geez, like, but the thing is, so most of the times brands are open to suggestions. I mean, we don't know, we do know, but we don't know as much as you do. You know how Instagram works, Insta live videos work. So we're going to give you a brief. If you, as an influencer, think that this is crap, no one's going to listen to my video at 11 o'clock in the morning, say so. Because we'll be like,
Mm,
oh, okay, well, we didn't know that. We thought that was a great time because it's daytime. Um,
mm,
you're a business. You're not going to walk into a boardroom and keep quiet and take everything that comes to you. You're going to have a conversation. Have the conversation. But again, the thing is, yeah, I hear you when you go to the apps and stuff like that. You don't always have that freedom to say this works and this doesn't work. But at some point in that machine, someone is going to get your content, and it's a whole someone. So if there's an opportunity for you to write a comment, you can say, I took this picture at 11 o'clock in the morning. I don't feel it's the best practice because A, B, C, and D, but here is your content. And then they'll come back to you. Because remember, whatever you suggest back to whoever you're speaking to, it's going to go back to the person who's going to be paying your money.
mm,
So as much
mm,
as they might say, okay, we want daytime pictures only, they're going to keep that in mind for the next time. And
mm,
also works in your favor that, oh, I like working with people that give me recommendations, that help me with my campaign. And instead of being reactive the next time, they can now put you in a database, they can put you in a campaign, they can put you in their plans for what's happening in July, for what's happening in August, because
mm,
you were that person. And even these apps, they have suggestions that come through. You can see the people that are more aligned to your brand or that have worked on campaigns to yours. So as much as you work on brands and you work on your brand and your engagement, you'll keep favoring, you'll keep going up, you'll keep going up. But again, get rid of the porno things, get rid of the DM me for promo rubbish. Just that lowers your score. I can't say that enough.
mm. I mean, maybe define to people what counts as engagement. Someone asked what counts as engagement.
Engagement is responses. It's your likes, it's your retweets, it's people viewing your video and responding. So if people are consuming your content, that is engagement somehow. Sometimes you get people that are just going to like. So say, for instance, we'll have a Twitter post, right? And then you've only got 5 likes. It's not as good as 5 people responding. So like
Mm,
that's why I said build a relationship with the people that you follow or are following you. Get in the habit of commenting and replying on other people's things. Because when they see your content, they're just like, snap, I remember that name. Now it becomes an online friendship. And that's the stuff that really counts. So if you're going to have, I mean, there's so many articles. If we can just take time to read, find out when your people on your timeline are online, like on Instagram, they've got an insight. You can see that on Monday, they are most active at 12 o'clock. Then post at 12 o'clock. Don't post at 12. We're all sleeping. You know what I mean? So make research, make yourself aware of things that are happening. If you can see that, oh, Sunday Twitter is, yeah, they, if you're going
I
to be
think you need to
posting,
put your phone where it was before you, yeah.
oh
Yeah.
no, okay, is that better?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Okay. If you just need to know your audience, to know the engagement, to know the people that are moving around, you can go into the insights of all your apps. You can see when's the best day to post, when's the best time to post, and that also, I like what Collie had said the other time, that brands are open to your suggestions. So, like I said, if they want you to post at 11 o'clock, but you know that your timeline is popping at 3 p.m., mention it. They're not going to say no. And if they do say no, it's fine. It's to their detriment. At least you put it out there. But most of the time, they're going to listen. They'll be like, okay, we'll work with what works for you, and we'll see if that works at the end of the campaign.
So I think that like just for things for people to pick up, negotiate your prices. I think this is just from that conversation. Negotiate your prices. Obviously, if you don't feel you're comfortable with the price, rather step away from it than you posting that like brands feel a certain way, because brands don't pay enough. Because you actually, I don't think a lot of people understand that like when you are working for a brand, you actually are advising the brand that this person is a person we need to look at. So it's not like the brand that literally like they taking a shot at. They actually taking a shot at you, actually like saying, yo, this guy is a person we need to look at. Now, if we can't afford you, just communicate that like, listen, we can't do it, and leave it at that. Treat it as a business. Second thing is that on your page also, just to see, like just like Cody's just been saying, you can actually go to your insights and check on your insights. I think there's analytics. It kind of shows things where you're able to when are the days where people are engaging on your page the most, etc., etc. You know what I mean? Of course, just so you listen, as a clothing brand, you don't have to comment on people's posts to gain that traction. You literally just need to communicate in the pages that are relevant to the things that you are doing, So you are also part of the dialogue, or you could be seen in those spaces, because you're not the first person to have a clothing brand. Um, Let me just see what other
And ask
questions
for
we have.
advice as well. I mean, there's so many people that we follow that probably do similar things to us. If you can see that another brand is doing well and they seem to communicate with a lot of people, speak to them and say, look, I'm battling. How do you do 1, 2, and 3? A lot of people aren't stingy with knowledge. It's just that we never ask. You just got to ask. What's the worst? They won't respond, and that's fine. Or they will respond, and that's even better. But you've got to ask. You got to speak to your engagers. Like, guys, I'm really trying to push my tops. Am I doing it right? What more do you want to see? They'll be like, well, put your prices up. How are we going to buy from you if we don't know your prices? Or, it's the small things that we overlook. But we just got to talk, have a conversation. I mean, it's your online family. Have that open conversation with them.
Sure. What are some of the things that like in your position that have been like like pet peeves, things that you hate with working with influencers? Um I know you once told me a story, but like you don't need to say chair, but like what are some of the things that like you've kind of like, and I'm saying it so people can also literally look at them and go and maybe and see how they think and react whenever they get these type of calls. What are some of your pet peeves?
Dishonesty. Um, we work on timelines. So if we have something that's going on and you say, look, we need you to post on Friday at 2 p.m. and on this day, this day, this day. If you know that at Friday 2 p.m. you're in class, talk. Because
Mm,
now I'm going to be upset at 3 o'clock that I missed the 2 o'clock post. I have to go back to my client and say, why, see, I didn't post at 2 o'clock. Do you understand? It just puts me in a bad situation, and then I'm offish with you and I don't want to work with you anymore. Like, just if there are things that you can't do, just rather say. Just rather say. Another thing is, there's so much. I'm trying to narrow it down. But like the diva tendencies as well. It's so unnecessary. Don't do that. Don't do that. I'm also trying to do a job here. I'm trying to get you paid. I'm trying to put you on. Let's work together. You know what I mean? Um, also, also, if you're going to work with a brand, know who their competitors are. I think it's not like people are being malicious. We genuinely don't know. So sometimes you'll be working for a certain milk brand, and you happen to buy a different milk brand at home, and you're not actually influencing. You just happen to say, hey, I'm having cereal today. That's you're posting a competitor, but you weren't malicious about it. So be cognizant of the things that you're doing. If you're going to be working on a campaign and you know what you're working for, kind of be like, okay, snap, I can't be posting stuff like this, or A, B, and C is a competitor. Let me stay away from them for a couple of times. The biggest thing is, if you're going to be posting, especially on Instagram, we ask you to post pictures, or especially pictures or videos on your timeline. As soon as the campaign ends, please don't archive it. We need that for reports. And as much as the campaign may end today on Thursday before Good Friday, I may not be doing my report until 2 weeks' time. So if I go into your profile next week and it's gone, then we've paid you for free. And who's going to get the back end? Not you, me. So
I
keep
think
it. Hmm?
I wanted to explain that a little bit further, just obviously in a simpler form. So if you've been running a campaign, either archiving as in deleting it, the reason why you need to keep it like even after the campaign is because that thing is still it's still getting like some type of engagement and some type of impressions. So immediately when you remove it or archive it, it's almost like the campaign doesn't get its full time on the page. So sorry, I just wanted to elaborate the archiving, because from a reporting perspective, because I think that's a very big thing that like we never really highlighted, is that reporting. The point of influencer marketing is that we got to see the results. You ask why are people buying advertising on generations? Is because when that was a thing back then, that you have to make sure you've gotten your 30 seconds on generations, is because SABC was reporting with the numbers of how many people are watching. And so everybody has to see themselves as a mini SABC.
Yeah.
And if anything, if literally SABC was getting paid 20 million, everyone on digital is now, and this 20 million class is broken down into like 1,000 pieces, whether it's 10,000 piece, 100,000 piece, or 2,000 piece. Every person on digital is a custodian of this big bottle, that's this big glass that's broken on television marketing, because they're inheriting on digital. You know what I mean? So reporting and those numbers are key. So you got to carry yourself like an
Yeah.
SABC, if
Yeah.
anything,
Yeah. And read your contracts. I think there's a reason why these contracts now in all our influencer stuff, because of this kind of stuff. And if you breach your contract and you delete your stuff, I think most contracts will tell you that you need to keep your content for about 6 months, 6 to 12 months. If you go back on that, you're liable to pay back all that money. So if you
Mm.
got paid 20,000 rand and you're like, okay, Kashab, after 2 weeks, bring back the money, because obviously it didn't work. So read your contracts. If there's no contract, ask the question, what are the T's and C's to this promotion? Maybe you're not allowed to, I don't know, do something stupid, like, I don't know, some small stupid things, but ask. What are the T's and C's of this thing? How available do I need to be? Sometimes you get into campaigns and you're not a video person. And then all of a sudden, a month later, they're just like, we need a 1 minute video for you. And you're just like, oh, people don't even look at my videos. What do I do now? But you're already inside the campaign. So now I can't be like, okay, sorry, we'll just do a post. I can't go back. So those are the things. If you feel like the person who's briefing you or the app that's briefing you isn't so clear, ask the questions. There's always those boxes, write or comments in the box, or email so and so. Ask the questions if you're not sure. And there's no shame in not knowing. I mean, we're all new to these things. Things change all the time. Um, just yeah. Yeah, before I digress.
Yeah. DJ Smoke says, when it comes to content, is it quality or quantity that reigns supreme?
Quality. Quality, quality, quality. You can give me 30 posts of 1 like each. That's to me. Or you can give me 3 posts of 10 likes each. That's gold to me, depending on whatever it is. So, like I said, if you have a relationship with the people that are following you, watching your videos, reading your blogs, whatever the case is that you do, you're going to have good engagement. And for us, engagement is gold. Like I said, we're slowly moving away from the big numbers. Um, we were we repel against the big numbers. We know it's big numbers, but no quality of engagements. And if you do check the engagement, sometimes it's bots. It's hey sexy, but you're posting cream. You know what I mean? So you already know that this person's buying comments and stuff like that. So we want the genuine people. Um, just enjoy being online, and this is why brands buy into you, because people enjoy being online and they enjoy talking about things that they're using. If you love using a certain mask over your hands. I saw this picture of Somizi yesterday. He had a mask on his hands and his feet. It's something I've never seen in my life. But if it's something that's new and you just absolutely love it, talk about it. Like, I want to know more about it. You know what I mean? And the more you talk about things that you actually love, the more people are going to gravitate to you. Brands are going to
So,
find you. Remember, like the CEO is not sitting on Twitter looking like, oh, okay, who's talking about socks today? It's people that are working on the brand that happen to be watching Skim Sam and tweet and be like, snap, okay, we also do socks. Let me screen grab this and send it to my group. You know what I mean? It's the small things. And you're talking to me, but you don't know who I'm working with. Relationships.
and I guess, when you do talk about big numbers, and you say that you see the engagement is not great. There's something that you mentioned earlier on about just having fun with being on social. I guess you get a person like a Somizi who, since we've mentioned him, who's basically got a huge following, but he got great engagement, but he's actually a content creator per se, and you can see he's having fun with it, right? Then you get someone else, whoever their name could be, they've got a big following, maybe like Sumizi, but it's almost like a vanity following. You know what
Mm,
I mean? So even when you so like people are always trying to get these big numbers, like a Sumizi, like whoever the person was, who maybe was famous because they're on TV, but they have a vanity following, and that's the bots. That's a hey sexy, you know what I mean. People are always chasing those big numbers, but they miss that you gotta actually have a personality on
yeah.
social, and
Substance.
that's what Sumizi has, um, like to a certain extent. No matter the fact that he's working with a whole lot of brands, the point is that he has that personality. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I think the lesson with everybody also is that, guys, don't aspire to have these big numbers. Aspire to create great content. Don't take Somizi's numbers and wish you had his numbers. Rather wish that you had his type of creativity to create
Yeah.
like him. You know what I mean? um and that's dope. I just want to see. Okay, Lady Kate says Nadia Jaffa is on point. Okay, Hermaine, what's up? Hermaine says to gain. Hermaine is even like verified, and he's like not even like a superstar. He says to gain big engagements, you
Okay.
must first engage with your audience on your social page. It's working. DJ Smoke, shout out for that. The keys. True. Hey, those small questions really matter. You don't want to get into something you don't understand. That's straight up for you. Very insightful. I'm taking notes. Who
I
is that?
saw a
Steve?
question earlier, I think from Yibanati, saying, do you think that influencers are underpaid in South Africa? That's a broad question. Sometimes I feel like as influencers, we don't know our worth. Um, you do get people with big numbers and awesome engagement, but they're going to charge such low rates simply because they're trying to get the gig. That's fine. We all started there. But eventually, you need to get to a point where you actually know how to hire them. You can't be paying me 50 Rand a post when I'm getting 2,500 likes. Like, something's got to give. You know what I mean? And sometimes you'll sometimes you'll bag the 10,000, the 15, 30, 40, 50,000. Like that's a dream come true for a lot of people. But sometimes it's only the little people that come to you. But like I said, you need to know your content, and sometimes it's a situation thing. I mean, we're at a time now where some people aren't even going to get paid. So that 300 Rand goes a long way if you're not getting anything at all. But don't be afraid to know your worth. I don't want to mention brands on here, but there's a certain influencer app that's been around for a while. You can actually check how much you're worth on Twitter and on Instagram. I always say take that with a pinch of salt, because they might say that I checked the other day, they were saying that posts are worth 1,000 Rand a month, a tweet. And I'm like, that's unreasonable. I know that no brand is going to pay me 3.6 for 2 tweets. So you say, okay, this is how much globally they think I'm worth. Work around that figure. Take it down a bit. If someone comes to you and they say they've got a 10,000 Rand budget, don't milk them dry and say, okay, I'm only going to give you 3 posts. Have that relationship. Add added value, because the more you help me do my job, the more I'm going to punch you for more campaigns. And it'll go back to what you said earlier, here, that we're going to keep going back to the same people. And I saw a complaint on Twitter the other day that you guys are using the same brands, all the same people all the time for your brands. They've tried to build a relationship with us. When we go to you, you don't respond to texts, you don't respond to tweets, you're flocking people off, you're causing fights with celebs. I can't fight here and at work. So something's got to give, you know what I mean? So it's a catch-22 type of thing.
And I guess, I've always had this view that like influencer in the influencer marketing thing is also a free market. It's you can get a rate from an app, but like it's a free market. If someone says they can offer you this, you either got to make the decision whether you're going to do it or not. That app is not entirely correct. It's just giving you a standard. You know what I mean? So it's a free market, and so I'm also not tied down to the fact that like sometimes you've got a lot of money, and you know that guy really does well, and because we got a lot of money, we're gonna give that guy a lot of money, but sometimes it's a little money, but I still need that guy because he still speaks to the audience I want, but I don't have the budget that I had there. Because it's that type of business. It's really a free market, and the app is just giving you a global standard. But so I think people also need to not have this my self-worth perspective, but have a more of a I'm open for business perspective.
Yes.
And
but
and
don't yourself.
and
You may be
but
for business, but don't be working for free. You know what I mean?
yeah.
And have those trade exchanges, which are awesome, but you can't just do trade exchanges for the whole year. Like, you gotta eat. Data is expensive. Like, you're a business. Think like a business person.
Yeah, and this is it. But you see, that's why I use the example of at Times Live, or because they big companies, they owned by big media companies already. Even if like they get some type of allocation of money, even SABC, they literally need to go. You are paying for this. Here's the 1 Rand you're paying for. Vlad, I'm also gonna give you value of 3-4 Rand of this. You know what I mean? So I think that like that whole behavior of negotiating is not limited to just influencers, because they just influencers and they don't have lawyers in the building behind them. The added value thing is literally part of like the relationship across the board. I guess we are it's a moving world, where I believe that we also have media companies that are buying on behalf of brands, and at times a brand could be able to negotiate certain things with the media company, or with the influencer, sorry. And because the influencer has literally been briefed a certain way by the media company, the influencer responded like 1, 2, 3. So if the influencer responds like 1, 2, 3, gets to brand, and the brand goes, but that's not what I wanted, I'm not going to pay for it. You know what I mean? It becomes a bit hard, because sometimes the middleman is not able to really talk about the bigger creative things. So when you sit there as an influencer, a media, and you go, oh, I'm excited about this, I'll actually do it, and I'll actually even do it for I'll actually give you so much value because it's who I am. You know what I mean?
Mm, mm.
So also sometimes we there are those barriers of brands not well, I just want to break it down for people. Is there's a brand, and in the middle there's the agency, the media agency, and then the third person is literally the receiver, which is the influencer. The people in the middle, the media agencies, at time represent the brands, and and so sometimes when you get an answer from when you get a call from the media agency, it's probably because someone from the media agency has suggested you, or
Even
and
P
the pardon, even
even
PR,
P
yeah, yeah,
Mm.
even PR. It's because they've suggested you, and so when you come back with your cost, there's no need for you to be aggressive with the person in the middle. But this is
Yeah,
the person you need to build your relationship with in the
yeah,
middle, because
yeah,
he or she takes it up to the client, and when the client goes, no, I don't like it, or I don't see it, I don't understand it, they're able to literally come back to you and also go, hey, the client doesn't get this, or whatever the case be, you know. So it's a chain of understanding, and I think these clients need to breathe clearly also. It's so difficult because, you know, as now I'm just talking about the things in my head, I sometimes feel like um a client that doesn't understand who um who um who Hermaine is. Take for instance, you
yeah,
know, a client that doesn't understand who Hermaine is as an influencer, just using him as an example, um, it's difficult for you to give for them to get the context of what he needs to do because he's just another influencer, right? So when you literally
mm,
sell something to Hermaine and like Hermaine goes, I'll do it like this, but they don't, and you go back to the client and you know Hermaine knows that's gonna work though. And the client goes, no, but it's not really, but it's gonna work for him because he knows his audience, you know? So it's yeah, there's a lot. It's still a journey of understanding all the worlds.
yeah,
Besides just influencers not getting it, I think it's still a journey of everybody understanding all the worlds, you know?
yeah. You know, like I get that clients need to brief clearly, but we also need to understand who is client. Sometimes client came from an era where marketing was TV and radio, and now they've thrown into digital, and they're like, yo, there's this influencer word that's been thrown around. Somebody do something. And
Mm,
when they brief the way that they know. It's a title. It's I need 100,000 reach, and you know they speaking a language that influencers don't speak. And then it comes to a media agency, and maybe media agency is someone who's new to the game. They don't really know if they can tweak it or go back, so they take it as is and they take it to influencer. Like we said earlier, as an influencer, you know what works. You guys are on the ground. It's like going to a billboard agency and saying that I want a 1 minute music video. They know that nobody's sitting in traffic looking at a billboard for 1 hour, for 1 minute. You're going to crash. So they're going to
mm,
say, no, let's do it 15 seconds. It's a
mm,
why. It's a have a conversation. So as an influencer, like Hermaine will say, look, it's best to do pictures in the day and content at night, or writing content, or whatever the case is. State why. You'll give me the reasons. I take and I'm like, okay, this makes sense to me. I need to sell what you say to the client, right? And if client bites, then we're good. If client doesn't bite, I'll come back and give her the feedback, and then we'll either have to go with it or we'll have to find a different approach. But as an influencer, you also have to have your own strategy. You can't, like I said in the beginning, don't be a brand whore and just take everything. And you're gonna post the whole day, and all you're posting is brands, 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 brands. We're gonna unfollow you. We're not
mm,
gonna engage you. And then you're gonna lose your money.
mm,
So have a strategy as a business. As an influencer, you are a business. I just want this to hone down to everybody. You are a business. You know what works. You know what doesn't work. You know what brands stand, what brands will stand for your audience. If I come to you and I'm saying, please, we need to promote swimming in September because we haven't been out in a long time, but you know your audience doesn't swim,
mm,
but giving you 50,000 rand. Now you're thinking, yay, this is money. You have to come back to me and say, look, I'm really interested, but my audience doesn't swim. How can I introduce them into swimming? You'll never
mm,
know that I may have not a campaign, but like comms that are how to introduce people into swimming. You're like, snap, actually, maybe let me use you earlier. Let's introduce people to swimming pools. All of a sudden, you had a gap that I didn't even know I had. So have that conversation. Let's get our money, guys, but also know your brand. Don't take everything for the sake of taking it and bomb out, because then we get these reports, and that's where we have to now explain her main went and took a swimming thing, but his audience doesn't swim. We're never doing influencers again, simply because one person just wanted to take the money and didn't want to come back and say this doesn't work. You know what works. I may not know what works. Let's have a conversation. Let's meet in the middle, and then take it from there.
Hey, Theodorah, thanks for making the time to speak with us,
Pleasure.
and shout out to everybody that also jumped on to this chat, we're gonna have more. You can literally like look out for the Slikour OnLife influencer tips on our timeline. I think next week, Tuesday, we're gonna be speaking to someone that maybe you've worked with also before, and who's worked in personal banking, fast food, one deal in Kabinde,
Oh yeah.
um, yeah, so we're going to just carry on these conversations because I think that like there's the more the market that the brands are trying to target understands their value and their equity, the better the more cohesive the relationships are going to be, because they're going to make excuses about directing the money to I want to say our people, because our people don't know what to do. And it's a real thing, let's be 100. Our people don't know what to do most times. It doesn't matter how well they posting, how well they look like, or how much money they have. Sometimes, this is really, when you're sending out an influencer brief, you're taking a marketing document to a person who's probably not in marketing.
Yep. Yep.
So and when you talk about how many people in who are so-called influencers or who are on social media, look to everyone on social media, how many of these people understand how to read a marketing document? How many of these people understand what's the point of marketing, except that they want people to buy? And now you're going to tell them about, I need to report. Please don't archive the thing because, hey, but simple stealing postil so for nine. Understand?
Yeah.
And people are really going to be, and brands get furious, but it's an educational problem
Yeah.
versus like a person being a diva. And then the person does become a diva because they're like, that brand, they just want to abuse
Yeah.
me, and you know what I mean? And there's that misunderstanding, and I think the world is really getting into this space, and we need to protect our people so they have the knowledge so they can grow their income, and most importantly they can also know their value and their worth, and they can understand the partnerships that they can have with brands, so brands can walk in and say, we're going to keep partnering with these people.
Mm,
You know what I
mm,
mean? So,
mm.
so thanks for making the time. I mean, the truth of the matter, this is really the objective. We need to be open to business, prepare ourselves for business, and if these money opportunities come to us, we need to receive them, and we shouldn't ruin them because we don't have the information. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Um, yeah, man. Shout out. Thanks to everybody engaging.
Cool.
This actually went. Although we started late, apologize for that. Both on we had signal issues here, but I mean, this really looks like it was needed. We got so much engagement, and it actually went better than I thought. Um, I mean, I'll just also just like read some people's posts here who I think also have a great following and understand this world properly. Like Main says, be as organic as possible. Don't make it
Mm.
obvious that's the campaign.
Yes.
And then, I mean, Stars Nene says some influencers put in work, some just take advantage of their numbers. But this is what you're also saying, that your guys are watching this, Um, Cover Coast, there was very, Lingo, yep, influencers need the work as well. For everyone that missed the conversation, we were speaking to Miss Theodorah Manjo, and she was just giving us some, and she's basically a digital strategist, and she was just giving us some insight. So please make sure you look out for the video, share it with your friends. It's important that you guys get this information. The world is moving to this place, so if y'all don't use this information, they're not gonna give you this money. That's one thing for sure. They're not gonna give you this money, and they're gonna be giving it to other people. So so make sure you're getting this. Yeah. Shout out, y'all. Have a good night.
Broadcast live